You ever been fined by your HOA for something ridiculous? Try this, Karen, the HOA president, fined me $500 because my trash can was visible for 12 minutes. Not a day, 12 minutes. But instead of yelling or paying, I smiled because I had a plan. See, what Karen didn't know was I had friends on the inside, and I'd been quietly buying voting shares from frustrated neighbors. The next HOA meeting, let's just say, Karen showed up ready to find me again, but this time I walked in as her new boss. And when I fired her in front of everyone, that's when she realized she messed with the wrong neighbor. Stick around. This story has revenge, justice, and a twist that'll make you stand up and cheer. That'll be a $500 fine for leaving your trash can out an hour past pickup, Karen said smugly, slipping the notice under my door. What she didn't know, I had just sold my company for 7 figures, and while $500 might hurt some folks to me, that fine was an insult. So I made a decision right then and there. If Karen wants to play HOA queen, I'll just buy her kingdom. And what happened next? Let's just say the neighborhood still talks about the day Karen lost everything. I moved into Crestwood Estates for peace and quiet. A beautiful community, tree-lined streets, perfect for relaxing after I sold my startup. No drama, just my dog Milo and me. Enter Karen, HOA vice president, clipboard addict, and self-appointed enforcer of every minor rule. Lawn a quarter-inch too high. Warning, lights still up after December 26. Citation. But the final straw? I left my trash bin at the curb a few hours past the 7 a.m. deadline. That's when I got the $500 fine taped to my front door, along with a passive-aggressive note. Residents must be more responsible if they want to maintain community standards. No warning, no grace period, just straight to max fine. I decided to attend the next HOA meeting. That's when I learned that Karen wasn't just annoying, she was powerful. The president, a tired older man named Harold, basically nodded at whatever she said. Karen pushed through vote after vote. $200 fines for cracked pavers, mandatory bush trimming, no basketball hoops, no yard decorations, without visual harmony. I sat there silently, watching homeowners cower. I knew then, this wasn't about order. This was about control. Later that night, I did some digging. The HOA, technically a nonprofit corporation, had a board of 5 and allowed buy-in voting rights for certain members of the community. But here's the twist. Over half the homes in the neighborhood were owned as rental properties, and the actual homeowners never voted, which meant HOA power came from very few votes. Those votes could be influenced or purchased. That's when it hit me. If Karen wants to rule the neighborhood like a tyrant, I'll just buy the kingdom out from under her. I started calling the off-site homeowners. Hi, I'm Alex. I live in Crestwood. I'd like to offer you $1,000 for your HOA voting rights this year. You keep the property. I just vote in your place. Most of them said yes. They hated Karen's citations too. One woman in Arizona said Karen once demanded she repaint her vacant house for having faded shutters. Within 2 weeks, I had secured 37 proxy votes, enough to swing every decision. Karen had no idea the ground under her clipboard was crumbling. Words. At the next election, I showed up with my proxy letters. Karen's jaw literally dropped as the board counted votes and announced, with 37 votes, Alex Williams is elected HOA president. Karen stood up. You can't do that. That's manipulation. I smiled. It's democracy, Karen. I just played by your rules. Within 1 week, I eliminated all petty fines, repealed every Karen-backed restriction, canceled $40,000 worth of unnecessary landscaping contracts with her cousin's business now in power. I made transparency my first mission. I hired a third-party auditor. Turns out, HOA funds were being misused. Karen's friend was paid $4,000 for decorative mailbox inspections, nearly $18,000 in beautification. Expenses had no receipts. The board confronted her in a closed session. Karen screamed, cried, claimed she did it for the good of the community. But the damage was done. Karen's fall was dramatic. I didn't even have to kick her out. She resigned the next day, after someone posted screenshots of her emails in the community Facebook group. Emails mocking neighbors, calling their houses budget homes, and kids yard rats. Neighbors turned on her fast. Even her allies disappeared. She packed up and moved within a month. We turned Crestwood around. Fines were replaced with friendly reminders. HOA funds were used for a new playground, walking trail repairs, and community BBQs. We created a chalk zone for kids to play freely, something Karen once found a family over. More people started attending meetings. The HOA became what it was meant to be, a voice for the residents. And my $500 fine? I had it framed and hung on my wall. Today, Crestwood is thriving. People wave when they pass. We host outdoor movies, dog playdates, and paint the sidewalk weekends. My dog Milo has his own bench plaque now. More importantly, no one lives in fear of their HOA, because I made sure the rules serve the people, not power-hungry clipboards. Speech balloon to everyone watching. Sometimes you don't need to fight fire with fire. You fight it with paperwork, patience, and power. Karen thought she could run the neighborhood with fear. She didn't realize I had money, time, and a whole lot of spite. But this story isn't about revenge. It's about taking back control. Eyes if your HOA has gone rogue. Talk to neighbors, read the bylaws, and don't underestimate what you can legally do. You might not have to just fight back. You might be able to take over. Backhand index pointing down, have you ever been fined by a ridiculous HOA rule? Tell us in the comments. We're featuring crazy HOA stories in our next video. Fire, don't forget to. White heavy checkmark like the video if you support homeowner rights. White heavy checkmark subscribe for more epic revenge stories. Bell turn on the bell so you don't miss the next Karen takedown.